You don't normally wake up in the morning thinking you're going to see a wildlife world wonder. But that is exactly what happened that day. The day first started at West Point Island with a healthy walk. We ended up at a rockhopper penguin colony cohabited with black-browed albatrosses. To reach the rookery, we had a downhill fight with long tussock grass. I'm sure there were tussock snakes down there pulling on our ankles. We got to see some nest maintenance performed by an adult albatross, and chicks practicing their takeoff routines for when they're ready to fledge. In the afternoon, we stopped at Steeple Jason to visit the largest colony of black-browed albatrosses in the world. 70% of the world's black-browed albatrosses are found in the Falklands. The colony at Steeple Jason has somewhere between 160 to 180,000 breeding pairs, which means 160 to 180,000 nests with chicks in them. So if you do decide to count the albatrosses after they have hatched, there would be somewhere around 500,000 adults and chicks, give or take a few, in the colony. The colony stretches for 5 kilometers or 3 miles. Nests could be seen as far as the eye can see along the coast. It was mind-blowing and of pure beauty as the chicks were molting, about a month away from fledging. But again, to get close, we had to battle our way through a field of tussock grass. Once beside the colony, I decided to focus on a persistent and noisy chick looking for food from the parent. The close-up photography was fantastic. On the way back to the ship, we encountered striated caracaras having issues with orange cones left along the way to guide us to the colony. It looked like it was a battle to the death. Good thing they're not in Ottawa during construction season. We also saw a bit of action in the colony of Gentoo penguins. We left the Falklands on a high. The seas were rough on the way back to Ushuaia, but nothing quite like the crossing from South Georgia to the Falklands. As we entered the Beagle Channel, we had another surprise. A large pod of orcas feeding in the channel, and the seabirds feeding on the leftovers. Getting off the ship in Ushuaia was a bit emotional. When I got off the ship in 2009, I dreamed of coming back. I knew there was a possibility I could come back. This expedition is most likely my last one in this part of the world. I definitely plan to return to South America, but the Southern Sea and Antarctica will not be in my future itineraries. I consider myself very lucky to have been to Antarctica not once, but twice. Credit goes to the crew of the National Geographic Resolution and the Lindblad Expedition team for making this such a great adventure.